Oh, hello. Hey, Corey.
Hey, what's up, brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we'll be getting some people popping in here in a minute. How's everything going?
Good, man. Getting ready to head home for lunch here in a minute.
Oh, sweet, man. That's great.
Yeah, got some novations closing this week. We're killing it this month.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. That's great.
Yeah, we're happy. That's for sure. Waiting on my baby girl to be born. That's gonna happen any day now.
Yeah, what's the due date?
Like 2 weeks, but like she's like already getting a lot of contractions, cold chills, all the
Oh,
typical.
it's happening, bro. It's happening.
Yeah, pains in her hips because I guess everything's opening up.
Uh-huh.
It's getting close, man. So we're expecting any day now. We're gonna be
Exciting, though, man.
I know, man.
And now, are you guys having a boy or a girl? I don't remember.
It's a little girl.
Little girl. Oh, that's the best, dude.
Mm-hmm.
They take care of their papa too down the road.
Yeah, she's gonna be a daddy's girl for sure.
Hi, guys.
Hey, what's up, Jacob?
This is Sonia, my new TC.
I met Sonia before you even introduced me to her.
How you doing, Corey?
What's up, Jacob? How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. We're not ready for the PBC stuff yet. I will let you know, though, bro, but I'm
Yeah, you're good, man. Take your time. You're on pause.
He's got a baby coming soon, so he's got to,
Oh, yeah, I heard. Congratulations, bro. That's awesome.
Hey, thanks, my friend. New journey for me.
Yeah, do you know if it's a boy or a
Nate,
girl?
we didn't even plan this, man. Look at that. Hawaiian shirt.
Is it a boy or a girl?
A little girl.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have name choices yet?
Yeah, her name is Angeline.
Awesome.
Angeline.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, my friend. I appreciate it.
So Jacob, it's Sonia, right?
Yep.
Yep. So she must be getting a ton of information and training right now, huh?
Yeah, what do you think, Sonia?
Yes.
Pretty cool business, right?
It is.
It's a lot to download, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. She literally just sits with me all day and like tries to find things that she can do that so I don't have to. So she's
Love
like TC/admin.
Yeah, I told her that you're trying to keep her from going to college so you can have her work with you.
Yeah, maybe. That's what I told. My best friend is her boyfriend, and I've known her for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And I told him like maybe she'll like maybe I can pay her $100K a year or something eventually because she'll be a rock star and maybe no college or something.
There you go. Yep. I know my son is going to his junior year this year, and he's taken like dual credit classes and all this stuff. And he's like, honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna end up going to college though, Dad. So we'll see. But he's preparing just in case.
Yeah. Well, he should get into real estate.
Oh, he's interested for sure. So, well, we'll go ahead and get going here. I just want to kind of start out. We're going to have Nate Fugate here from Michigan. He's going to be sharing some stuff with us. But before that, I just wanted to see if there's any wins that anyone has, anything they want to share about some deals that may be getting together on the creative side, or if you need help structuring anything. That's really what I want to be able to do on a lot of these calls, is help you guys and celebrate the wins that are happening. So
yeah, we locked up another wrap deal.
Not the one in Maryland, a different one?
A different one.
Oh, wow. Where's this one at?
I don't know. I got to ask Nathan.
Awesome,
never met.
Brandon. I got 2 new acquisitions, Marley and Darren.
Okay.
They haven't
Who's that
watched,
new rapper?
they're gonna watch the video that of the whole thing you did the 2 days with us. They
Okay.
haven't done that yet, but so just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no, let me know and I'll try to drop by and intro myself to everyone. So,
Okay, yeah, and I'll tell you, it would be good for you to drop by probably after I have them watch that
okay.
whole thing. So probably like in a week or 2. I'm just having them focus on normal stuff right now.
No, that's great. And I know I stopped by George's yesterday, I think it was. He had a good day yesterday.
I did have a good day yesterday. I'm having a better day today too.
Oh, wow. Better than yesterday?
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, man. It's all.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can handle back-to-back 6-figure days though, bro. That's amazing.
In there. Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
Well,
man. Wins are good.
I love it. And it's nice to see stuff popping and finishing and closing and stuff, so.
Right.
Well, let me introduce Nate. So Nate, I got to meet Nate. He came through what we call the First Check Challenge. So Sean Terry and I put together a coaching program for wholesalers getting started. Some maybe just a few deals or right from scratch from the beginning. So I was lucky enough to get to know Nate and work with Nate with one of my other coaches at the time that I had hired. His name is Mark Hewitt. He's gone to just focus on his business because that's exploding. He's in Dallas, Fort Worth. So Nate got I guess he got punched from both sides from us. So it was kind of fun to get going. But what I loved about Nate during the coaching we did an 8-week coaching program. He was always involved. He was always on the calls. He was always asking questions, always trying to improve. Always try to get a little more info to try to improve his whole process, his system, everything like that. Nate, why don't you tell us about how long ago you got going doing this and how things are going now and kind of lead us into what your business is like right now.
Sure. So I got started roughly 2019, like mid 2019. I made my first deal for $1,000. My second deal was really rough. I made a little bit less than that, and I probably could have went to jail.
Don't say that.
But then I got some education. I finally stopped watching the YouTube videos and got some formal education. I picked up some Sean Terry courses, which really helped me, showed me what I was doing wrong. And then a guy by the name of Bryant Hunt called me and told me I needed to join the First Check Challenge. And so I listened to him. And so I did the First Check Challenge. It's been a year and some change now. And it really helped out in the perspective that you have coaches, you have them on Voxer, you're connecting back and forth. If you have a question, if you're in the middle of a deal, you just have access to them. You're asking questions, you're learning a lot as long as you show up to the meetings and you're actually involved in learning, because it's like any kind of training, right? Like you're only going to get out of it what you really put into it. And I'll be the first to say that like a lot of people don't put a lot into it. They join and it feels like, well, you're just expected, like they just expect the money to fall from the sky. And like really what you put into it. So like, that's why I ask a ton of questions, be super involved. And so I did, I just got super involved. Shortly after that, I made my next deal for $14,000. And then I started joint venturing with people that knew how to do creative finance. And long story short, I had I was cold calling. I hired a VA. And then somebody came across the phone and they said, dude, you sound just like every other person who calls me. And it really changed my perspective. I was like, oh my God, like I'm literally the same thing. I am the same thing as everybody else. What am I doing differently? So immediately I knew I had access to Sean's courses. And I thought like, well, like I have access to down payment arbitrage. So here I am, I'm like barely skimming by. Like, so I'm going through, I binge down payment arbitrage. I figure out like somewhat what to do. I've got my contracts, I've got everything ready to go. And then sure enough, I studied, and then it's almost like I manifested it. Like the opportunity came as soon as I finished down payment arbitrage, an opportunity came right off the bat. He was a mortgage rep. The guy didn't want anything for the property. He had realtors turn him down left and right. He just didn't have enough equity, and the property needed too much work. And so he wasn't going to be able to. Wholesalers were calling him, and once they found out what he owed on the property and the repairs, they turned him down. No agent was working with him. So I said, well, what if we just took over the mortgage? We took over, and he was good with it. And I made, I think it was, hold on, I still have the check.
Oh, sweet.
I won't dig it up. Well, maybe I can. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the check. I do, right here. Here it is. $10,000.
Nice. First creative. I love that.
My first creative. And nobody else was able to do anything with that. And it really changed my perspective. So, and by the way, that wasn't clean. That wasn't clean by any means. I was back and forth with Brandon. I was asking a ton of questions. I did a lot of things wrong. But now, I mean, as far as our business goes, about 60% of the deals that we do are creative. We just closed one as if today's Thursday. We closed one Monday that was creative. Super easy deal. It took us all together about 2 man hours to get it done. And we made $10,000 on that one too.
Nice. Now, was that first one, was that the lake house one, or was that a different one?
No, this one was it was a house right out of Washtenaw County, or it's in Washtenaw County, right outside of the outskirts of Ann Arbor.
Okay. Now, you said you're doing about 60% are creative deals now.
Yeah.
So like carrybacks and wraps, or what do they look like? What type of strategies are you mainly using?
It's just a mix. So like we're using so something I heard from Steve Trang at the Creative Finance Summit that I went to of yours. It really, really changed my perspective. And so it used to be we would just go after wraps, and we didn't really want full seller carrybacks. We wanted sub twos, or we just did seller carryback. But now, like we pulled the Steve Trang, like the Steve Trang method was to, you're essentially the doctor, and like basically you're prescribing them like a solution based on what their problem is. So like obviously if they owe too much on their mortgage, your solution can't be a all cash offer. Like a doctor's not going to prescribe malaria pills for the flu. Like you can't, the prescription's based on what they know or what is going on. So we pretty much prescribe a solution based on their problem. So like, for an example, we just did one. We're actually in the process of one right now. This one's just a full mortgage takeover. It was a refi. The property's in really good condition. It was a refi. Then the woman lost her job. The husband can't support the mortgage on his own. And it's not that high of a mortgage. So we just took it over. We just took over the mortgage, and we're wholesaling that out. That one closes next Monday for $14,000. And then we're keeping one. An opportunity came right in our hometown. And this one was very different. He's getting ready to go through a divorce. He doesn't want the wife to get any of the proceeds. But the wife is on title. So we said, well, what if we can get her quit claimed off? He said, please, if you could do it. We called the wife. Turns out she was more than willing. So we're sending a notary over there tomorrow. She's going to sign off on the quit claim it back to him. And then he's selling it to us for a pure mortgage wrap at $85,000. Property needs about $10,000 of cosmetic work, but the ARV is like $150,000. So we're getting automatic equity.
Nice.
Anything to do with a house. And we're closing on that one on the 10th.
And what type of cash flow do you think that'll give you after you get it fixed?
So we're debating on whether to do an Airbnb or a rental. I'm not used to Airbnbs yet. I'm still trying to figure that out. But it's smoking hot in the area. So I don't know yet. I don't know what I want to do with that one yet. But the rent roll, so the payments to the seller altogether, I think it's right under 650. Rent roll for that type of house in the area is right around 1,700.
Wow, that's over $1,000. Wow, that's great just on that cash flow.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. So one of the things that I was telling everyone that you, one of the ways that you're getting so many deals, I mean, I think you're really good at analyzing these deals, understanding sellers' needs. But you shared a document with me that now let's walk down this path. You have every one of your acquisitions people produce a written offer. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, and it's not always in a form of a purchase contract, correct?
Yep.
So what do you use to have them submit a written offer to every seller?
So we do letter of intent. So every seller will get a letter of intent regardless of whether they were super interested, somewhat interested, or whether it was just like, bro, just make me an offer. They all get a letter of intent with a number on there. We have a little method, right? We started doing that because, anytime, like, I don't care who you are, whether you're calling, you're texting, you're going to get those people, make me an offer, bro, just make me an offer, make me an offer. And you're not going to make them motivated for the most part. You're not going to, because what every other wholesaler does is they go right into saying, well, can you tell me a little bit about the property? No, dude, go kick rocks. You called me, make me an offer. Right? You should have dropped by it. If you're going to make an offer, why didn't you haven't seen it yet? Why are you trying to make an offer? So that's a lot of the feedback we were getting. So we were like, you know what? At any time they ask to make an offer, just ask cash or terms. All right, cash or terms. And it kind of throws them off, right? So if they say, well, cash, okay, shoot me a good email. I'll go ahead and get your written offer up. I don't want to waste your time. So if you give me your email, we'll go ahead and write something up for you. Right. And so if they're serious, if they're really considering an offer, they'll go ahead and give you their email. If they're not serious, they're going to pull back and say, wait a minute, you know what? Never mind. I'm not really looking for an offer. And then they're just going to pull away and you're not going to waste your time. So if they give us the email, regardless, they'll say, well, cash, right? They all say cash. We still write them a quick 2 to 3 tier offer. We'll quickly analyze the property. We'll see, the ARV somewhere around 185. And so we'll come up with a quick 3-tier offer. It seriously takes us anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to draft something quick up. And then they'll send it out.
I was going to share, if it's okay, if I can share a little bit of what one of your LOIs or letter of intents look like. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So let me pull this up here real quick. And can you guys see the letter of intent here? Now, Nate usually, I think when I downloaded this, I don't think it had his, he usually has a nice little logo up here and a little sentence about everything. And then one of the offers here, this is a terms offer. But I wanted to highlight the one thing that you added that I don't always see on letter of intents. I see term offers a lot on letter of intents. Where, here's the payments, here's the, the loan amount, the term and stuff. But the one thing you did at the very bottom is something I wanted to highlight here. And if you can talk about this for a second, that'd be great. Okay, is everyone able to see this okay? Yeah. So Nate, what tell us about this line right here?
So we always highlight their total profit because a lot of times they don't know what they can make on their property. So like most sellers don't really understand when it comes to terms like, well, if I'm selling, especially the landlord types, they generally want to know like, well, if I'm already getting payments, right? If I'm already getting rent roll, what's the point? Why would I sell to you on payments when I'm already getting payments, right? And I get to keep my property. You have to kind of walk them through it. So, okay, well, again, you're not taking on what we call the 3 T's, your taxes, toilets, and tenants. Said, okay, yeah, you're getting $750 in rent roll every month, but how much of that goes to repairs and taxes and everything else that you have to pay, right? How much of that in profit are you taking? And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't know, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. Well, we put down here, right? So we tell them what they're going to make in payment. Say, hey, you're not taking on
Right.
taxes, toilets, tenants. We're not doing anything like that. This is pure income for you. Here's your monthly payments. Here's your yearly income. And then so what we do is we add up all of the payments we're going to be paying them within the
Yep.
7 years. And then we use the amortization table because we did 5%. That's what this guy wanted.
Yeah, right here.
Yep. He wanted 5%. And so all we did was we added up all the payments for 7 years.
Mhm.
And then we added it to the payoff in 7 years.
Yeah, right there. Mhm.
Yep. We just added those together to show him he wanted 100 grand and no one was giving it to him. And we showed him, okay, well, we told him this is something I've trained my acquisition guys to do. And they're going to say, well, we're going to be your highest offer. And here's why.
Oh, I
And
like that. We are going to be your highest offer, and here's why.
Yep. And we show them why we're their highest offer. Here's what you're actually making when you sell to us. Boom. We
I
show
like
them-
that. I like that line.
Yeah.
One of the
That's awesome.
things. Go ahead. Anyone got a question there?
No, just it's awesome, man. Awesome.
This is one of the things I wanted to point out too, and I don't think you realize this, Nate, but I this caught my eye here too. This line right here. These payments can be inherited by relatives, children, or to do anything you wish with. Right? Because a lot of times, a lot of these properties that are free and clear, or they've had it for a long time, a lot of those folks are older, right? 70s, even 80s, what happens, what happens as I pass away? That answers that question right off the bat too. So I love that. And plus, of course, the no closing costs, fees, or commissions and stuff like that. The other thing I like is there's several things on your letter of intent here that I really like is basically we take on all taxes, all insurance, all repairs, all utilities, right? So basically you're making those payments, whether it's a wrap or a carryback. And then you use the third party another party as an authority figure, like an underwriter here. Below is the offer our underwriter felt would give us the best win-win situation for everyone. So very well written. I like this. I've seen different ones. We have like a 3-option letter of intent where we do a cash offer, a terms offer, like whether it's a carryback or a wrap, and then a lease option offer and stuff too. So lease options are a little tricky sometimes, right? In Michigan.
Yeah. So Michigan, though, so I know like a lot of states, I found out in Ohio, you can't throw a lease option out longer than 2 years. I found out. But Michigan, there is no cap as long as it has a date.
Okay.
So you could lease something out for 20 years. As long as it has an end date, you could lease it out.
Yeah.
Ohio
And
and Michigan.
one of the things I found out, some of the states that have those, I've seen where they've just basically, they do a 1-year lease option with the right to renew every year.
Okay. I know Pace does something with an automatic renewal, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like an automatic renewal. Because we were in the process of doing that right now with the property. Doing a lease with an automatic renewal, but the guy he just said he's willing to do seller finance. So we ended up taking that route.
No, that's great. Why are you getting so many of these creative offers? Why do you think so many people are accepting these type of creative offers? I mean, I know you started this wholesaling, right? That was your focus. And it seems like the creative is really more than 50-50 of your business now. What's making the difference, I guess?
We ask, we just target and ask. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I mean, nothing really special. I came back after that creative finance summit. We were doing, at that point, it was roughly a 40-60 scenario, 40% seller finance. And then I came back to the team and pretty much just said, hey, we're going to go all in on seller finance. That's what we're going to target first. So we've started developing some unique ways of getting people to like convert, like for that property, that letter of intent that you just showed. That one was so we did something really cool. So I had my acquisition guy's the one who made the offer originally. And then the seller's like, I don't know, like I'm older, I'd rather just cash out, blah, blah, blah. And he kind of made it like, I can't really do that. Like I'm just not open to it. And so I called and I made it sound like he was alone in this, right? So I was like, so I'm the underwriter. I just had to ask. I know you're not open to seller finance, so I'm not going to try to change your mind. But you're the only one out of we're picking up 3 other properties this week, and you're the only one that hasn't been open to seller finance. I just want to know why. And he was like, oh, well, what makes it so special? He just didn't understand, right? He just didn't understand it.
Mhm.
So I said, oh, well, it's a great way to make the most money. You can avoid the big tax bill, give him the whole spill. And he's like, well, what if you guys default? I said, man, that's the worst case scenario for us. Why would we put all this money into your property just to give it back to you? I said, what sense does that make? And he goes, oh, okay. Well, can I, are you, what does that look like? I said, do you want it in writing? He said, yeah. Send him the letter of intent. He signed off on it. We got it under contract.
I love that. I love that. Is it okay if I share this with the group here?
The letter of intent?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All righty. Cool. Corey was asking us, so I put it in there. It's in the chat now for everyone, just to let you know. I love that. This is what I talk about, Nate. A lot of people, the reason why a lot of people don't get these creative deals is they just seriously just don't ask.
Yeah. We just ask. We started asking more, not that we weren't asking before, but now it's like every deal, every time it comes across the desk, that's the first thing we go to. Like for one of the biggest deals we have on our board right now, our acquisition guy did a killer job. He's only been working, I think this is month 4 for him, but he's doing a crazy good job. So like this one's in Brooklyn, Michigan, and this one's attached to a resort actually. So this guy, he owns several businesses in the area, and he's been trying to sell it for quite a long time. The property needs some work. And he wants full price. Obviously, he wants full price. He's a business owner. He's not going to lose money on this. He wants full price.
Right.
And my guy, Lee, my acquisition guy, he goes, wow, man, you know what? This property gets me really excited. I tell you what, we'll give you full price. We just need, we're just going to do it in payments for you. I tell you what, when's a good day to close for you? He goes, well, can we close sometime soon? He goes, yeah. He goes, I tell you what, what would you like? What would you like a month? That way I can go ahead and write it out. What seems reasonable for payments for you every month? He goes, well, I'd like at least, I think it was $1,500. The property's huge. It's 5-bed, 2-bath on the lake, attached to a resort. It's got a storage unit on it. It's got the nice pier in the back.
Wow.
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful property. And pretty much he nonchalant just say, I tell you what, we're going to pay you full price. We're just going to do it in payments when you want to close. Boom. And that was it. He just nonchalantly gave it to him like that. And he goes, oh, well, if you're going to give me full price, that's all he wanted to hear.
Right.
He could have cared less. It's all he wanted to hear. So this one's, we're actually closing on this one next week. We have to get an updated certificate of trust because you have it in a trust and then took it out, but it hasn't recorded yet. So we still need to get an updated certificate. But as soon as that clears, we're going to be closing on that one. That one's interest free. We got it for that one altogether with the land. We had a commercial zone commercially. We had a commercial realtor come in, and really good friend of mine. He came in. He said, "Fixed up, man. This thing's probably going to be worth around 1.1." We picked it up for 600 principal only payments. Nothing down.
Wow, that's awesome. But you gave the seller what he wanted.
Just what he wanted. Yeah, we just gave him what he wanted.
They wanted this price, and the negotiations don't have to be that crazy, right?
No, you don't have to get into sometimes these landlords, like your old school landlords who know their numbers down to the T. Like most of the time, you're not going to fool them. You're not gonna get one over. So negotiating. Most of them are really alpha male, red types.
Yeah.
They know their numbers. So I just agree. You just affirm them. I got to get this. I agree. You need to get it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. Well, this and that and this and the other, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, I agree. And then you put the ball back in their court. Something I've been learning with the alpha types is like they want their price, and they want their interest, and they, whatever they want, that they want it, right? It's like, well, I put these houses on the market. I agree, man. These houses are worth every penny that you say they're worth. I just wonder why they're not selling. Do you have any ideas? And they'll start telling you why they probably won't sell. And you say, I'll tell you what, man, let us help you solve your problem. What if we give you your price and your interest rate? How does that sound? And then he brought up the down payment. I said, well, if I'm going to give you your price and your interest, I'd rather not pay anything down. He goes, well, what about, I just needed something down on this one property. Okay, boom, there you go. And that was a 9-property portfolio. And I was on the phone
wow.
for 2 hours just listening to him talk about his properties, and he knows what it's worth. I just agreed with him the whole time. Just agreed. Yeah, I agree. Your property's probably worth that.
Are you given very much down on any of these deals?
No more than 5.
It's that limit, right? If we put that limit in our head, and we can, it's amazing how, if that's our ceiling, right, that's what we'll go up to, and we can make it work. So
no more than 5. Yeah, we don't, preferably nothing, but most of the time, like your, what's his name? Your former acquisition partner. What was his name? Was it Raphael?
Oh, Raphael. Yeah.
Raphael. Yeah. He talked about just not bringing it up. And, we were like, we're dummies. We were bringing it up, because we thought we were going to insult somebody if we didn't bring it up. But shoot, we don't bring it up. Neither do they. Right. So he was right. Absolutely right. They don't bring it up. We don't bring it up. And then it's fine. So we just say, oh, what if we take over your mortgage? Oh, okay. Well, what does that look like? Well, we're just going to take over your payments. We'll use a third-party mortgage processing company, make sure it gets paid. And we'll help you with some move-out costs. How does that sound? Okay, perfect.
Are you assigning and wholesaling a lot of these? Are you keeping any of them?
We're keeping, so to be honest, these are the first ones we're keeping. We're keeping 3 out of the 7 that we got this month, or for the month of July. We wholesaled 4, we're keeping 3. And the only reason is because they're all nothing down and no interest.
I love that. Well, that's really good. So a lot of the folks here, this is for business owners and their team members. So we'll have some team members, and a lot of them are business owners in here. Question I have for you is, best way you train your team. How do you train a team to go through this?
How do you train? You send them to you?
But you've trained a lot of these guys. A lot of it's just kind of going through scenarios and role plays, or do you do a Monday meeting, or?
So when they first come on, for our newest guy we're bringing on, so for the most part, we don't throw them into the fire right away. We do a nice little interview, we bring them on, and then when we started when we started gearing more towards seller finance, I sat down with everybody. I said, we're going to do a Zoom every Monday and every Friday for 2 hours, and we're going to just do the topic of seller finance, and that's it. Mike, he was my first acquisition guy. He's the one you trained me and him, I believe, late last year, early this year. He was my first, and now we've grown to about 7. We got 8 people now with the new hire. So we started doing Monday meetings and Friday meetings every morning from 9 to 11. And that was our time. We just did seller finance. We would role play. I would have people make offers. And then once they got it right, we did speed. So we had everybody to the point where they could comfortably make seller carryback offers, mortgage wraps, plus seller carryback. We went through every scenario, lease options. And then once everybody on the team, including the dispo guy, got it down, then we started moving into speed. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give you the scenario. I want you to go ahead and write up a quick 3-tier offer. And, now it takes them every bit of Lee, it takes them about 6 minutes to get a nice 3-tier offer together with an amortization table in front of him to send it out. That way he can move on. That's the biggest thing. You get the 3-tier offer out. He's not super motivated. They're going to have it in writing. Now let's move on. Let's move on down the list.
I love that. How many come back after you guys send those letter of intents?
So it's really cool. Since we started sending them out, we've had crazy success with it. So one guy, he flat out, like, we weren't even close to his offer. He flat out, he dumped seller finance down the toilet as soon as we brought it. And we said, well, we're going to put it on paper for you out of respect. You know, we took up some of your time. Why don't you let us throw it on paper, at least shoot you an email. That way you have it. He's like, oh, fine. We sent it out. He looked at it, and then he seen the payoff plus the payment. He seen the total profit, and he called us back. He called us. He did an email. He's like, okay, what is this? What is that? Said, hey, that's how much you can make. And we ended up getting that deal. That was one of the first ones we got when we do the letter of intent. And then we had another guy, just make me an offer. Just make me an offer. Well, can you tell me a little bit? No. Just make me that offer. Just if you're a serious buyer, you'll make an offer. Okay. Cash or terms. All right. Cash. All right. So we sent him a 3-tier offer anyway.
Mhm.
And then he's seeing the total profit on the our second offer. I think we had like $2,000 down with like 3% interest. He liked that one because we only went out 10 years. Then we had a third one for like 20 years. He's like, 10 years, this amount of profit. He's like, well, what is this? What does that look like? So, oh, okay. We explained it to him. Mike, when he was doing acquisitions, he's now disposition, but when he was doing acquisition, did a great job of selling it. He's like, dude, you're missing out. He's like, all the cool cats are doing this. He's like, all the landlords are doing this. You know, he's like, you're losing a lot of money if you're not doing this, man. He's like, I would hate to see you miss out on all this money. He's like, if everybody else is doing it, I'd hate to see you miss out. The guy's like, oh, okay, well, you know what? How soon can we do this? And
all the cool kids are doing it, right?
Yeah. And that's how he mentioned it. I still chuckle at it, man. And he did a really good job of selling that. And then so roughly out of every probably 10 letter of intents that we send out, we usually get one callback roughly on them.
Wow, that's great. That's really good.
Yeah.
So the 3-tier, talk about that for a second, what you're doing, because typically your letter of intents don't include the lease option, right? It's a cash and then 2 terms offers typically.
Yep.
Okay.
So
and then how does that work?
We do like a cash offer, and it's all dependent upon what we're offering. So like obviously we can't do a cash offer on every deal. Like if we know they owe too much on the mortgage, then we're not going to send a cash offer, but we will do like a 2-tier seller finance offer. Like we'll do one with nothing down at like 3%, but for 10 years. And then we'll do another one, nothing down at like 4% for like 20 years. We'll give you another percent because you're getting us a longer term, that kind of thing. And so we have total profit on both. Obviously they're making more on 20 years at 4%. And then they're making, X amount at, with 3%, nothing down for 10 years. And then, we'll just do a 2-tier, but that's generally what it comprises of. It's like a cash offer. If we generally don't know if they owe on it, but like, let's say if it's in foreclosure and we know it is, we'll go ahead and send it out anyway. But like, if we know they've only owned the property for like 2 years, we won't bother with the cash offer. We won't even do it. Like if we could see the mortgage on there and it's like they're in foreclosure, okay, they probably owe, especially if they're in foreclosure and they've only owned the property for 3 years, we just kind of read the room for the most part. We just read the room. So we pull it up at our automator, we get a little information. Okay, they've owned the property for 20 years. Chances are, even if they owe a mortgage, they're beat down on it, we'll go ahead and send them a quick 3-tier. Boom. Cash offer, seller finance option 1, seller finance option 2, and we send it out. If they have only owned it for a little while, if we feel like it's going to be like a seller carryback or a mortgage or something like that, quick 2-tier. Now, sometimes if we've already talked to them, like a lot of times what we're running into now, because these guys are getting really, really good at explaining seller finance. A lot of times we'll just say, hey, do you want to see what that looks like on paper? And they'll say yes. And so we'll only send one offer on paper. We'll just send it to show them what it looks like.
I like that. I want to open it up for questions too. For anyone here that has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself. If you're able to, throw your camera on and ask any questions for Nate here. go ahead. If anyone has anything, go ahead and just unmute yourself and ask away. Don't be shy.
So I'm usually able to get to the point where I'm sending out the like contract and or send out like an offer. Oh, 1 second. There we go. So I'm able to send out an offer and I'm like, it's written out and everything. And they always just like, they kind of go over the interest and like down payment, and they immediately start asking those questions. So how do you get around that if you're ever just like, you don't mention an interest, you don't mention a down payment? How do you get around that when they're sending out that offer?
If they bring it up, then it's already brought up. Like if they're bringing it up, you're not getting around it for the most part because they brought it up.
Mhm.
Now, like it's about knowing what the deal is, right? So for an example, if they owe too much on their mortgage, or like if it's a landlord and he just knows what he wants, there's not a way of really getting around it, but you can negotiate, right? So like for an example, like on something like this, if this guy would have said, listen, man, I really need, I need $5,000 down. Well, we always come back with, well, I tell you what if we just give you 107,000 instead of 100,000?
Mhm.
And sometimes we'll say, and then, or we'll give you 105, but we'll give you $1,500 down. Right. And we'll negotiate, because if they're interested, they're interested. If they're bringing up down payment and interest, you're already in a pretty decent place. You're not going to get around it because they know what they want for the most part. Now, unless you're going to play like a pull away game, which we've done too, right? So like we've had guys, we've seen a $500,000 property, and the guy wanted 700,000 for it if he was going to do a seller carryback at like 3%. It's like, okay, yeah, we're definitely not the buyers for you. I tell you what, if you, God bless, I hope you do really well. We're just not the buyers for you. We hope you find what you're looking for. And a lot of times those guys will call you back and say, whoa, what can you do? My business partner, Kevin, just had it happen today. As a matter of fact, we had a chick, I don't say, is there any girls? I didn't mean anything by it. But we had a seller out of Fort Worth, Indiana. She needed 10 grand down. She was adamant, 10 grand down. And, she wanted some interest, and Kevin's calling me and he's like, man, because Kevin's my integrator. I'm a visionary, right? So we deal with sales more than anything as a visionary. So I'm telling him like, dude, like, don't offer her any interest. She doesn't need any interest. We're already taking over the mortgage. We're already pretty much, by taking over the mortgage, we're already almost at ARV. If we give her any more than like 5 down, we're at ARV, right? I was like, we're not giving her any interest, and we're not giving her $10,000 down. It's just not happening. We're not doing it. He's like, oh my God, are we going to lose this deal? I was like, maybe, but here's what we're going to offer her, right? And I said, if she doesn't do $3,200 down, we'll do $3,200. I just came up with $3,200 down, 0% interest, or we're walking away. So Kevin calls her back. He's like, tail tucked between his legs. He's like, all right, my underwriter said, we're going to do, we can't do anything other than $3,200 down, no interest. She goes, oh my God, yeah, I definitely can't do it. And he goes, well, if we can come up with anything else, I'll give you a call back. But for now, there's definitely no way we can make this work. I'm sorry. I hope you find what you're looking for. She called him back 5 minutes later and said, is the 3,200 still on the table? We got under contract today.
Nice.
Read
That's why I brought up the letter of intent, to point out that you didn't put a down payment on here.
Mm-mm.
You purposely don't even bring up down payment. You talk about their asking price. You talk about what it is that they want, right?
Right. And the only reason we had interest is because he brought that up. He said, I need 5%. I said, okay, put on 5%. Because the numbers work. The ARV on that property was somewhere around like 110, something like that. And it's it's nothing down, and he's giving us quite a bit of time. That one we wholesaled out. We closed. I think that's the $14,000 one. We closed that one out. And again, it's like knowing the buyers too. Like a lot of times when we advertise one deal, seller finance, like we have a ton of buyers that'll come through and, like somebody will buy it, but like we leave the property up on purpose as we're going through the process. We never take it down. Even like we know it's going to close on Friday. They proof of funds, like everything's ready to go. We'll leave it up. That way we continuously get buyers to contact us.
Mhm.
Hey, I'm looking for a deal just like this. Hey, I'm self-employed, looking for a house just like this, looking for something just like this. And so we take in their information, we get proof of funds. How much can you afford down? How much monthly payments? And now we've got a pool of seller finance buyers in that area. So
Love it. Love
Yeah.
it. One of the things, and I don't know if you do this, Nate, but one of the things I'll bring up for everyone, seller finance, creative financing, the seller carryback stuff works out great on the disposition stuff. A lot of times we let the buyers negotiate us down on the price, and even on a creative finance, we'll have them negotiate down the down payment. One bit of advice that I'd give everyone is don't do that. Or let's say that you're going from a $30,000 spread down to like a $20,000 spread. Carry back the $10,000 as a note for 6 months.
Yeah.
Or a year or whatever it is. And same thing on the down payment. If you're asking for 20 down and they give you 15, to say, okay, well, we'll just carry the other 5 back and you can make payments on that over the next 12 to 18 months or whatever. So it works both ways on the acquisition side and when we sell on the dispo side.
yeah.
So.
And again, to answer, the question directly, again, you don't get around it because they've already brought it up.
Yeah.
So like if it's already brought up, you can't run from it, right? You have to acknowledge that they brought it up. But you can negotiate, you can read the room, you can make it work. And if they just flat out want too much, we don't spend too much time on it. I mean, because you're never going to make somebody not motivated.
So if someone comes back and says, well, because the common objection would be if you're giving, they're asking for a certain asking price, and like, well, Nate, I want $100,000 down, and Nate says, sure, I can do that. So, and then I turn around and say, okay, what type of down payment are you giving me? What's your reply to that typically?
So if I pick up the property, I'm trying to make sure I understand. So if I pick up the property for $100,000
Mhm.
and they say, what are you going to give me down?
Right. I'm asking for 100,000, and then you agree to that, and then I say, okay, what type of down payment are you going to give me?
So there's a couple of things that we do. One, we say, well, what are your immediate cash needs?
Yeah.
We need to move out. Well, I think move out costs what in your area, roughly $2,500. Well, we have $3,000 to be comfortable, something like that.
Mhm.
Or we just completely, again, like we change the subject because they've already brought up down payment. So like, for an example, we just had that happen last week. Who was it? Daniel or Lee? I can't remember now, but they went through that scenario. This one was a property out in, this was another one in Cincinnati, actually. So he said, well, are you going to do a down payment? That's how he asked it. Are you going to do a down payment?
Yeah.
And I said, well, we can talk about that. But first, I need to know X, Y, and Z. I need to know this first before we talk about a down payment. And then we just move along, right? And then, like, if he doesn't bring it up again, then I don't bring it up again. And that, in that case, he never brought it up again. And so we wrote out the contract without anything down.
That's actually a smooth. I've actually used that move on my wife when I'm in trouble about something, and I change the subject. She's like, whoa, hold on, you just changed the subject on me. Oh, did I? Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, like
that's only when I get caught. When I don't get caught, I'm like,
yeah. Now sometimes you get caught. They're like, well, I would really like to know, like, what can you guys do? Or like they'll say, I really need X amount down. I'm gonna go on a vacation to Florida. I really need some kind of a down payment. Said, I tell you what, let me talk to the underwriter. And, a lot of times they'll say, well, I need 10,000 down, something like that.
yeah.
So instead of, we do a little bit of psychological voodoo when it comes to that. So like, we'll say like, I don't know if we can do that, but we'll see. We'll talk to the underwriter. So we come back to them and say, instead of saying like, I know you were at 10 grand, but we can only do this. We'll say, well, the underwriter was at $2,500, but I managed to get you up to 4,500.
Yeah. And it's all how you present it. I've seen, so Rich, who used to work for Sean Terry, he works for Corey now. He would go, oh my gosh, I just got off the phone with the underwriter. Great news. We were able to, I was able to get him up a lot higher than what he was at originally. I think you're going to be really excited about that. And then he presents his low number, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much what we were doing. We were reading a book. I think it was Traction actually. Because like we're doing like now like team like we have a challenge. Everybody's got to read Traction. You know, like we're trying to establish that in our culture. But like we happened to come across it. I was like, oh my gosh, that makes sense. You know, that makes sense. Like instead of saying like, I know you wanted 10, but we can only do 5. You say, hey, our underwriter was at 25. I managed to personally get you up to 45. I fought for you. And a lot of times they'll come back and say, well, if you could do 5 even, I'm good. You know, that's where we were at to begin with.
Yeah.
And that's how we negotiate that. Now, again, like we're not like perfect and we don't get all the deals. It sounds cool because like I'm just talking about the ones that we do get, but like there's a lot of them that we don't get. Like a lot of times you're not going to be able, because like what is sales? All together, sales is actually just finding a need and then fulfilling that need.
Yeah.
A lot of times you're not going to be able to fulfill that need based on what they are. It could be like if it's a vacation home and they have no reason to sell, but they're entertaining offers, chances are you're not going to get that deal. You know, like they're going to want like, you know, over market value for cash, and they're going to want to close tomorrow. You know, like you're not going to get it. You know?
It's not reasonable, right?
No, it's not reasonable. Or if they do a carry back, a lot of times, something we hear all the time is, well, I'm going to need half down. All the time.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I'm sorry, you know, we can't, we actually converted a guy who wanted half down. One out of like the 25 or something, one out of every like 25 maybe. But like, I don't really know the statistic on that, to be completely honest. I'm bull crapping you. But just one guy, you know, he was, I need half down. I'm moving to Florida. You know what, you know, we're not going to be able to do that for you. But I tell you what, you know, we wish you the best. We'll, you know, I hope you make it to Florida. We'll send you a nice card, blah, blah, blah. You know, like, I hope you make it. And, you know, I'm rooting for you, man. Hope you get what you're looking for. You know, I know some great realtors in the area. I might be able to refer you. You might be able to get full price without having your half down, whatever it is. And so we hung up. 2 days later, my acquisition guy sent him a text message, said, hey, just wanted to say, I know you were looking to move to Florida. I didn't know what your timeline was, but I know some great realtors out in Florida. I might be able to get you a house. But he didn't know anybody in Florida. He was full of crap.
Yeah.
You know, just let us know when you're getting ready to move, and I'm more than happy to make a referral. And then the guy actually emailed back. It was an email, not a text message. He emailed back and said, well, let me rethink this. Let me get back to you in a couple of days. We didn't rush him. We were like, all right, that's fine. Do it. You know, talk to whoever you want to talk to, your attorney, realtor, whoever you're going to talk to him, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He came back to us. This was on a Thursday, the following Monday. And he said, I tell you what can you guys do down? I said, I use that method, before we do anything down, I have to know a little bit more about the property before we can talk about a down payment. And so we went through the motions, and we did have to give him 5 down. No way of avoiding it, but it was a seller carryback, no interest, principal payments only, 5 down. We wholesaled it out for $17,000.
Wow.
But he's one of the only ones who asked for half down that we have converted.
Wow.
But like, yeah, but most of the time, you know, they want half downs because they have a cash need that you're not going to be able to fulfill.
Yeah. And you're wholesaling these to other investors and
investors and conventional buyers. That one was to a conventional buyer.
Okay. Yeah. Do you get them? I would recommend on that, if you do a conventional buyer, have them go get pre-qualified or get qualified through a mortgage officer and stuff too.
Yeah, to get like pre-approvals and stuff like that. These guys, they made good money, really good. You know, they made somewhere between the husband and the wife, they made somewhere around $130,000 a year.
Nice.
And so their big thing was, this was like their first big breakout year with income. They both got raises. Their credit score was somewhere around like the 660 area. They're looking to qualify for a mortgage. They could have qualified for a mortgage, but they seen the opportunity. It was actually because we posted it to our buyers list and we posted it to like an investor page that we're on. It's like a private investor page. That investor seen it and pitched it to them because they were going to go FHA. And they decided, well, if we don't have to get our credit pulled, all that good stuff, if we don't have to go FHA and we can just pick this up for X amount down, we'll just go ahead and move forward. This is the area that we're looking in. So that's how they found us. It was a referral off of an investor who's seen us off of the Facebook page, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I mean, that's a really good idea. We don't do too many to conventional buyers. Most of it is landlord investors.
Yeah.
Some fix and flip investors, mostly landlord investors. And we've done, I think the last Monday was a conventional buyer too out of Ohio.
Typically, if you have an LLC, it's not going to be a problem. If they're not buying in an LLC, then you typically want to have them run through a loan officer. But this is great stuff, Nate. This is awesome stuff. I appreciate you sharing this stuff. I appreciate.
Absolutely.
If there's any other objections, if there's any other objections that you guys have or questions for Nate, feel free to go ahead and ask away. I'll go ahead and we had an echo there, so I just muted you for a second, Nate. You can unmute yourself there. So, anything else for Nate before we wrap up for the day? Well, Nate, I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on here. Appreciate you sharing the letter of intent. Everyone that's on the call, you should have a copy there in the chat. Nate, I'll get you an invite to our Facebook group too. So feel free to pop in and say hi if you want and all that stuff. So thank you guys. Yeah, thank you for doing this call. I appreciate it, Nate.
No problem at all,
Thanks,
man.
Nate.
Thank you. You've helped us out. So appreciate it, my man.
Thanks everybody. Bye Corey, bye George, Nathan, Ethan, Marley Ray, Lou Will, Sean Reagan, Lou, T Money.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys. Bye.